Hi y'all, it's me, Brown Goddess. So this is what we're not gonna do. We're not gonna automatically call me out for not coming sooner with the Arcana People review. Yes, I do have the last two episodes, the one where they missed the bye week for Thanksgiving, and the one that came on this week right here, this Tuesday. So, we're gonna go ahead and get into it, and this is what I'm gonna do. I am going to sip my wine and try to remember what happened in these episodes off the top of my head without using my notes. That's what we're gonna do now. We're gonna see how this goes. Okay. Now, okay, I'm gonna use my notes for this beginning part so we can get the ball rolling. But it is what it is. Okay. Um. Also, I have a coworker. She also watches the show too, and she likes to binge watch shows. So that's what she's currently doing now. I told her I wasn't gonna tell what happened, and so now I have something to discuss with the coworker as well. So the first episode was called Sister Vengeance, and the second was called Twice as Hard, Twice as Good. Okay, so this first episode, Sister Vengeance, basically starts out with Franklin coming home from the hospital. So they're meeting up and his birthday, and they're talking about like his big shebang and what he wants to do, what he wants, everything like that, because he's at the house. So then Angela goes and sees Franklin because he's finally at the hospital, and he shows her this Harlem Renaissance. I didn't get quite a good look at it, but that's what he wants for his birthday. So he tells Angela about the gift that he wants for his birthday, whatever, because his brother was like the big fan. He was been trying to find it and get it and purchase it before his brother's passing, and he could never find it. So that's what he really wants for his birthday or whatever. So Raymond comes home and him and Leah meets up, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, "I want to fight for a marriage," and blah blah blah, whatever. So yeah, that's what he wants to do. So then Nikki and Angela speak about getting invited to the party. See, I done failed already, y'all, because my mind, it just don't work like that. But just forgive me. We gonna keep this rolling. We're gonna keep this rolling. We're gonna keep this rolling. So they speak about them going to Franklin's party or whatnot. And so then what happened was Angela and met up with Leah at the company, right? And so she was asking her like how she's doing and how's Raymond doing, and they discussed how her and Tariq are having issues because they sleeping together at this point. So they woke up in bed or whatever, and she was asking him like how's he doing about finding out how his dad passed away and everything. And he goes to deflecting, and he goes to deflecting, and then it's like, I'm going to take a shower and join me. He likes to flex with sex. So she discussing that with Leah, and it was like, oh yeah, Raymond likes to do the same thing. They don't like to talk about anything, they like to deflect with sex. Okay. So that's what they be doing. So then Angela said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna ditch work, and we're gonna have like a sister benching, hence why that's the name of the episode, Sister Benching. So they go to this pool, and they're lit. So Angela and Leah, they're having like, she's drinking champagne, Leah, and Angela's having like a drink cocktail or whatever. And she like, we're gonna play a game. I'm gonna reveal something, and then you take a shot, and then you reveal something, and then you take a shot, or I'll take a shot, or something like that. And so then Angela reveals that she wants Teddy Franklin, to talk to Tariq about dealing with what happened to his dad. Remember, he was a security guard. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all the backstory. We finally found out what happened with Pat and what Teddy got on her, cause she done made it back from Boston in the second episode. So stay tuned. So Nikki and her dad meet up or whatever, And well, no, I'm sorry. It's a sister Angela. So she had the day at the pool, right? So then Angela goes to go get a refill on the cocktail. So Leah trying to tell her they come to you because Angela ain't used to the country club and stuff. So anyway, so they meet up. I mean, she leaves or whatever, and then Jack comes to her and they get to talking or whatever. He's like trying to be like, oh, we always had a thing for each other, and since things is not going too good with you and Raymond, here's my a bungalow key, and come see me sometime. Come be my sneaky link. Come be my sneaky link. So she was like, okay, and she put it in her purse. She put it in her purse. So then Nikki and her dad meets up and they trying to figure out what they're gonna do and hang out together. And he says, I need you to help me buy a suit for Franklin's party. And I don't really know where to go or what to pick out because it's a theme party. And I'm gonna reveal to you what the theme party is in a minute. So they da. So okay, so the brother, Lauren's brother, I can't think of his name right now. He's not really important, but the brother meets he runs into this girl named Sloan. Now, if you people watch House of Pain, the girl who Tariq, the stripper girl, who who Malik got pregnant. This is currently on Nice on House of Pain. The girl who Tariq has pregnant, that's who this girl is in this show. So I think it's like mostly Tyler Perry characters looped in all of these shows, whatever. Because even the lady in the second episode, I'm gonna reveal to you, I'm gonna tell you who she was in the Tyler Perry movie. But they meet up and he like have a liking to her or whatever, and this and that. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, like, Salone, right, is you're gonna see this maid. I'm sorry what the technical term for this, but she's the maid. They're the living maids. So the living maid is the grandmother, so she's like the top tier one, right? So she is the grandmother of Sloane, and Sloane helps out the grandma because she lives there too, and he likes her. So that's that. So we're gonna fast forward because I know it's some stuff that happened between, but we're gonna fast forward while it's fresh on my mind. So the brother, they finally get to Teddy Franklin's party at Teddy Franklin's party. So Teddy Franklin's party is like this 20 themed party, with the cuteness of it all. I think I was here during that time frame or something because I love that time. I love old vintage everything. I don't know why, I just do, but it's like cute. The whole dancing, the frills, the 20s, how they dressed in the 20s, like in Harlem and all that kind of stuff. So that's the theme part of that. So Franklin had all his girls like Lauren, Nikki, Leah, and Angela do like this dance routine, and they surround him or whatever. He was like, oh, y'all learned this, and they was like, yeah, or whatever. So before the party, I know Tariq and Teddy Franklin met up about him coping with everything, And before the party, Leah and Raymond met up and they were like real quiet. He's like, is this what it's come down to? And she looks at the key and contemplates, meeting up with the partner or whatever. So they go to the theme party, they have a little dance routine, blah, 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 blah. And so when Nikki and Angela walks in with the gift for Franklin, for Teddy, they give them this gift. It was a real expensive cognac or whatever. And the dad spots them and he goes to spot, Nikki, and she like dodges him. And so he picks up on, okay, she's acting funny because earlier in the episode, what happened was, I forgot to tell y'all, see, that's what I'm trying to look in the notes. So this is what happened. I'm sorry for touching my hair. I'm just trying to make sure it's not, it's covering this, but not annoying the hell out of me at the same time. So, okay. So what happened was they was at the pier after buying the suit, and so the police pulls up, and he just spent all these years in prison. So he gets like PTSD or whatever, and she panics because she don't know how to deal with the issue. He's like, "Here's Teddy Franklin's number, 555 da 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 da," and I don't know why all them called 555 in movies and stuff, but y'all gotta let me know that. I'm about to Google it or whatever, but that's what happened. So she's like panicking because he's like stone faced. He like stuck in the moment. He like, oh my god, maybe they tried to target me in the store. We went in this expensive store. Maybe they think I stole it. He's like, this is cool because he got PTSD, and she's panicking. She don't know how to solve it because da, da, da. And so he goes and talks. So basically, he goes and talks to Angela. He's like, I think something's wrong with Nikki. I think that what happened earlier today with the cops. And she was like, what happened with the cops? And he was like, oh no, calm down. But I like panic. I got PTSD. And I think she's feeling a certain type of way. And she's trying to be strong. I don't know why. But can you talk to her? Because I think she's feeling a certain type of way. And she's like, yeah, okay, I'm going to talk to her. So she goes and talks to her or whatever. Well, yeah. So that's what happened. So they go. So Rand's going to speak right after that conversation, and he reveals that he doesn't want to follow in the family business. He don't want to take over the company that the dad and the mom and them have. So he's like, I want to do my own thing. And that's like, you're supposed to be going to that's what I do. He want to do. He don't want to do it. He don't want to do this. He see how y'all crazy and going through it. He don't want to do it. So Oh, okay. So, Aaliyah and Lauren also have a brief conversation about Lauren telling the mom, like, we're cool now. I don't want you to think that I'm choosing dad's side over yours because I'm still cool with him, even though y'all aren't quite getting together. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, oh no, I would never, like, put you in the middle of what we have going on. That's that on that. So, yeah. Okay, that's that on that. So what happened was we go to where Leah is sitting in her car crying, and she calls Angela. Angela, it's like in the middle of the night. So Angela comes and meet her in the car, and she's talking to her about, so Jack, which is the partner, gave me his key when we was at the pool and to come to his bungalow, and I contemplated even going in there. No, I didn't go in there. And they speak about dealing with their husbands and their significant, her and Tariq and Leah and Raymond, right? And so they were basically the gem of this episode, because I always tell y'all they drop gems. So the gem of this episode was talking about how all black women are always having to be strong, how our grandmothers, great grandmothers, blah 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 blah. It was stuff that happened in between the relationships that they had with the grandfathers or whatever, and that they never revealed to the family or anybody what they were going through, because they were always having to portray being so strong. We have to learn how to be vulnerable and to express how we feel to our significant others, so they can have a better understanding of what's going on, and stop, like, we break ourselves down emotionally by having to be the strong one all of the time. And this is sidebar, and this is why we as black, well, some of us as black women come off as masculine, because everything falls on us. Everything ends up falling on us. We're made to feel like we have to do everything. They push the agenda. Back when I was in school, INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means? You do everything. You don't need nobody for nothing. But yet, men don't want masculine women unless he's feminine. And so the gem that was dropped this episode was, I'm sorry, his hair is so soft, y'all. I love it. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, that's what they spoke about. us having to be strong all the time, and how it's not beneficial. It's not beneficial to either party if you are trying to be so strong, but you break it down inside. Because you can't be strong and you emotionally, sure. So yes, that's where she said that being honest and vulnerable is where your power lies, and I agree 1000% on that, jewel. So, so the brother invites Sloan to a bonfire type thing, and when she goes to the bonfire, he introduces her. He did a lot, but he introduced her as like, my like head maid, such and such. This is her granddaughter, Sloan. She was like, good and well, if you refer to people as this, that is technically the maid. That's why I didn't want to refer to her as the maid, because I know it's derogatory. But what she said, it was something. I don't know. I don't know what term she used. I can't remember, but that's what she said. So Raymond goes to see the partner, and the partner reveals that he agreed to sell Teddy Franklin his shares of the company. And so, Teddy had been these people, he been getting into it with Raymond like the whole entire episode. He like called him and he was like, you old, you about to die. You just jealous because I'm young. I just, why are you trying to, like, look, you're gonna die soon. Somebody has to run the company. Why not let it be me? They just be going back and forth with each other. And so, but anyway, so they met up and he was like telling him about he sold the shares to Franklin, and that he no longer has the control over the company. And also, he was telling how he was trying to push up on Leah, the wife, and they get to fighting, and Raymond beats him up. And he was like, we ain't cool no more, blah, 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 whatever. And so then that was it. And so then Angela met up with, y'all gotta excuse me, I'm working too. But Angela meets up with Nikki, and they talk about the incident that happened with the cops or whatever. And she was like, and she told her she don't have to be strong when it comes to everything, because she was saying how she panicked and whatnot. And so she told her, she was like, you're always strong. And she was like, I don't want you to ever, I don't ever want to portray that I'm strong, that I'm never weak, I'm never, I'm never, going through things. So I don't want you to think that I'm always strong and you have to always be strong. You're still 17, you're still a kid. Don't ever think that. And that, just talk it over with your dad. He, what I'm gonna do is that I'm going to ask. Hold on, y'all. And anyway, so he was like, what was I saying? So he was saying, she was telling her that what she gonna do is she gonna invite the dad, Nate. That man's so goddamn fine. They're gonna invite him to move in with them so they can have like this co-parenting dynamic thing that's going on. Now I'm gonna speak on that. Y'all ain't gonna care. Y'all ain't gonna care, but I'm gonna speak on that anyway. So they just want to have like this co-parenting thing. So I'm gonna speak on that for a minute. That's one of the things like I fight with myself. Okay, I'm a single mom, right? Been a single mom forever, and so I never wanted to bring any old person into my life and have my kids see that person unless they were somebody worth seeing. And so now I feel like in my life, where my kids are way older, I don't know why. It's like, and how the world is viewed now, everybody is like against each other, black men against black women. It's just stupid. And and I just know that a lot of this comes from us not seeing a two-parent household, a positive, healthy two-parent household. And I'm ready to settle down and make that a reality so they can have something to see while chick still look good. You know what I'm saying? And I know, and that, shut up. I'm ready to not always be the strong one. And I know it's not gonna happen overnight. And I know it's the other things that I'm working on, and I'm gonna continue to work on. But I don't want to continue the single mom, not a dad, positive male role model, not a dad, not a healthy relationship. I don't care. He ain't gotta be black. He ain't gotta be black. But I want them to see what a healthy relationship is between two adults. That's what I'm gonna show them. I ain't trying to be I don't need a man for nothing. They over there. That ain't me. I'm ready. I'm ready. Not for any old person, but I'm ready. But yeah, but that's what she want. That's what she want. That's what she want. So then, Lauren. Okay, I'm sorry. So, fast forward. Okay, so what happened was, so Raymond and Leah ended up meeting. And so this is what got me. This is what took the cake for me. So I think the way he did it, I don't know if that's more just a nook and act. So I don't think it's that. I just think they made it too obvious in the writing of the sitcom. So he comes in and she tells him about, he was like, oh yeah, I know how you, like, he didn't tell him about the sharing, the partner sold the shares to Frank. I don't think he told her, but this is what I think he did. He found out about that with partner. He beat him up. He goes and tells her about, yeah, because he told me about the wrong key, da 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 da. And so she's like, okay, so and the emails that I saw on your laptop. So she was like, well, those emails were from when I found out my dad had what he was trying to do when he took over the company the first time. What had y'all beefing in the first place? Okay. So she was like, I was trying to figure out a way to resolve the issue, but I couldn't figure out what was it that what hold that he had on you. And I apologize for not coming to you and talking to you to get what the full gist was. I was trying to figure out what I can do on my end. And basically, this is what I think he did. He did exactly what he's been doing. He wants to try to make her, I ain't gonna say try to, because he feels like she should have his back instead of the dad because that's her husband. And so he's like, you gonna have to pick. You gonna have to pick me and choose to help me get get control of the company, so your dad can go ahead and die or whatever it is he gonna do, and yeah. So that's what he like. You gonna have to have my back, and she was like, I'll have your back because you know I'm talking to Angela. She's like, I'm gonna have your back. I believe you. I'm gonna let you lead, or whatever. And I think he's just trying to seduce her into getting control over the company. So I think that's what he's doing. So Angela talks to the dad, Nate, about moving in, and he was like, I don't want no handout, and she was like, no, I just want to co-parent and make positive, make show Nikki, we can co-parent, it's kind of like what I want, but they not getting back together. And so he was like, and she was like, no, it's not a handout or whatever. And he was like, okay, excuse me. He was like, okay, but I have to be her dad. Like, I'm here to be her dad. And she was like, of course. And so then Tariq walks in and he's drunk, of course, because he thinks that Nate and Angela is going to, they're trying to start something back. And yes, of course, he walks in and they're hugging, but they're agreeing to be the co parents in her life. Even though I know this is a bad idea, but I don't think it's a bad idea because of the fact that Nikki is 17. The baby was a baby. If she was a baby or under 5, yeah, I could see it being a bad idea. But because she's 17, it's kind of a bad idea because of how they separated with him going to prison. It was it, she reveals in the second episode that he broke her heart and she never really got over it. She never really entertained anybody else. Um, because of how deeply she felt for Nate or whatever. And yeah, so that's that. That's that. So we go into yeah, that's okay. Okay, so this what had happened was so we flash to we see how this episode right here starts. Work with me here. The that was the end of that episode. Okay, so this it was twice as hard, twice as good. Okay, so it flat. So what happened was the maid. So the grandmother maid. So the grandmother maid has been in the family working since Tariq's dad was security, and she revealed that Pat was see this is why I got confused. The way she was saying it was Pat was Tariq's dad's girlfriend, but then when she revealed at the end of this episode, it seemed confusing. Work with me here, y'all. Work with me here. I've been drinking. Work with me here. I can use tips and them, but I'm a little confused about that. That's what I took from the flashback, but I'm not confused. Anyway, so Pat made it home. Pat done was a little cute little old self. She's so cute. So Pat is the grandmother of the Power. That's Tariq's grandmother. Why I kept saying Tariq, like from Power, and confusing them with Tariq from here. That's why I kept confused. So anyway, so that's the grandmother from Eve's Bayou. That's the aunt from Eve's Bayou. So she comes and she's like, "Oh, me and the girls got together. We had fun. We turned up, or whatever, whatever, whatever." And so Nate walks out with a towel on. Y'all, I might be exaggerating, but Nate fine. I ain't exaggerating. That man fine. That man is chocolatey fine. Anyway, so I digress. So Nate fine ass walking up and they just speaking or whatever, and Pat like, "Girl, what is you doing?" And she was like, "Ain't nothing going on." And she was like, "That's the same thing Tariq said. Tariq think that something is going on and nothing's going on." Pat like, "That fine ass man, girl, who you trying to convince? I sleep with him. If he wasn't Nikki on daddy." Anyway, and so yeah. So then she was like, "Yeah, we just want to co-parent, da da da." And so then it flashes to she sees some writing in blood on the mirror, and she's like, "Jesus help me," because she knows that Franklin has the hold on her, and we trying to hold off for I tell y'all what she reveals towards the end of the episode. So Raymond is in the shower and Leah walks in behind him and he acting like he's so stressed. He was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do about getting this getting company and da da da. And she was like, what are you gonna do? And he was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna figure it out because I'm the man or whatnot. Okay. And so then Sloan and the brother are kissing in the hallway. The grandmother comes around the corner. He has a slide in the room and they meet up and he's like, hey, you wanna go to this get together or whatnot? And she was like, yeah, sure, why not? Okay. And so Tariq is running and Angela pulls up on him and they have a talk about the confrontation sort of kind of with Nate and him. And basically what happened at the end of that one was Nate was like, he ain't even worth it. And then Tariq was like, none of this ain't even worth it. I'm not even gonna do this. And he walked out all mad. So then she was like, well, I think you're deflecting. I think you are trying to put the focus on me and make it seem like me and they got something going on when you really don't want to talk about what happened to your dad. He was like, I think you're doing the same thing. And he was like, well, get the running in, go on, keep running. So he runs off or whatever. And so then the ladies who's getting initiated in the women's inductee type thing. So they meeting up and Angela and is there, of course, because you know she's in the incubator program internship because that's what she's getting the money from in order to fund the Eve's business. Okay, bop, bop, bop. So what happened is that Olivia has it out for Angela, right? We're gonna find out why. So she has it out for her and she's like being a whole B and a half. And so then, you know, Angela runs off and like, I don't need this. And then Leah was like, what you gotta do? And she's like, why I gotta do? She's like, come on, let me walk with you. So her, Leah, Angela, and Franklin meet up, Teddy Franklin meet up in the office, and he's like, hey, look, because of what happened, we're gonna dissolve the incubator program. I'm so sorry. So the way you can, she gets mad and she's like, no, the way you can still get the funds and stuff is if you make it through and get initiated in the women's league lady group thing or whatever, and we will give you the money to start up the business because that's what we do. We're sisters. And she was like, okay, I guess so, whatever. Okay, that's what that is. So then, yeah, that's that. That's what happened with that. And then oh, okay, so Renee did speak briefly, and she briefly, and so what she do is that she touches him. She's like, I'm gonna give you some of my tenacity, da da da. And so then Ray and the mom meets up about Teddy Franklin having the shares of the company, and he doesn't want her to meet with Jack, the partner. He said, stay out of it. Don't meet with him. We'll get this resolved. I got a plan, or I'll come up with something. Da da da. So okay, so that's that. So Nikki and the girls, you know, Nikki Taylor and all them meeting up. They at the beach, and then Lauren was like, let me speak to Taylor about something in private, and Nikki was like, alright. You know, and so they sit up there talking while niggas still there, but she like giving, you know, some distance or whatever. And so what happened was that they speaking about finding the key, the room key, and the mom possibly cheating on the dad with their business partner. And she was like, oh, what are we gonna do? I don't know what to do. And they basically hug each other because they was dating at first. So she's just trying to be a friend to her and tell her everything's gonna work out. I don't think you should get involved because when I got involved with my parents and I thought that my dad was cheating on my mom, what happened was that it was his boss and it was a whole big blow up and everything. So I don't think you want to do that. So you want to wait and see what it is, and so Nikki feeling the type of way because they hugged and she thinks that they're trying to get back with the get back. So Angela and Leah meet up, and Leah gives Angela a lot of names and stuff and information for her to take in, so she can make a great impression at the alumni, so she can go ahead and become in the sisterhood and she can get the money. That's what she doing. So the lady name is Giselle. Now Giselle, whatever her name is, Giselle something. So this is who Giselle is. Giselle is the head alumni lady, right? And what she has to do is that she has to get in good with her. If she get in good with her, she can become an investor and she can invest in Angela's company and bam, win. Okay, that's what that is. So what happened was Leah sees a picture, and it's a picture of Eve. Yeah, no, Eve is Angela's mom, Olivia, and Rose. Rose is Leah's mom. Keep that in mind. Okay. So so Nikki and Angela are speaking, and Nikki is telling her that she's thinking about enrolling in the boarding school, which Llewellyn and Taylor is going to be going after graduation. So she said she's thinking about enrolling so she can go. I think she really wants to go so she can be close to Taylor's because she don't want them to mingle again and possibly get back together. I'm gonna tell you like this: if you're 17, whoever you're dating when you're 17, that's probably not who you're gonna spend the rest of your life with. So don't do anything drastic like that to chase after somebody when you're 17. It is what it is. Okay. So Leah and Olivia meet and they talk about the shares. She reveals to her that the shares were were bought by her dad. What is she gonna do? She's gonna pick her. She needs to pick her husband's side instead of her father's side, and that and she was like, why you, and she wanted to know why you keep coming after Angela, and she was like, well, Angela's mom is a whore because Angela's mom slept with Rose's husband, which is Teddy Franklin. That's how Angela came. That's why she's existing, because of that. So she's trying to punish Angela for her mom Eve sleeping with Rose's husband, which is Teddy Franklin. She's trying to vindicate her friend. She said it has nothing to do with Angela. Leave her alone. You need to go sit down somewhere. It is what it is. So Teddy Franklin, he makes a drink, and Raymond is sitting out there, and he throws in his face again. You're just jealous of me because you're about to die. Come on, Black people. That's what that is. So Angela finds these vials with the cocaine in it. So she automatically thinks, this is Nate. He gonna have to get his issue get out. So she packed up his duffel bags, and she was like, before you even get in the dough good, you gotta get your stuff and you gotta get out. Find a coke. I can't believe that you would do this. I invited you in the house, being all, not even asking any questions, automatically assuming like we be doing. He didn't even say nothing. He was sitting there like, what the hell is she talking about? And I'm not gonna say nothing because I know this ain't mine. We gonna visit this later. So, so Olivia meets up with Jack, the business partner. So they meet up and she brings him this gin that he likes, and she's like, make me a martini. And she was like, oh, you make the dirty martinis or whatever, and they talking about the shares. And he was like, "You want some cocaine? You want some cocaine?" And she was like, "You need to slow down." And she basically was like, "Look, you don't have grounds or authority to sell shares that don't belong to you. Basically, your great grandfather and my great grandfather, your great great grandfather, and my great grandfather, basically they were best friends. He was black, and your great grandfather was white. He could not get a loan because he was black. He got the loan. They went into business together. They were successful. Um, Once he got, well, he used the money that the white granddaddy got to give to the black granddaddy. The black granddaddy blew the business up, right? So what he did was he contributed to the White's grandfather and his dealings over and over again for repayment for the loan, right? So after a while, the debt, you might as well say, was resolved. So he's like a, what do they refer to him as? Um, they refer to him as a guarantor. Is that how you pronounce it? Whatever that is. That's what he is. So you might as well say, we gotta put your name on something. You got to stand in, cause whatever. But you don't really got no power. This ain't yours. This don't belong to you. So you cannot sell what doesn't belong to you. So he gets up and he goes to try to confront her. She's an old lady. So she's like, "Get away from me." And it was dramatic. And he falls over and falls on the glass table. Like on that movie on, you remember Enough? Remember with Jennifer Lopez? Anyway, sidebar. So he falls on the table. Well, he did. Okay, so she like, they zoom in on the martini glass with the lipstick on it. Her fingerprints on the gin bottle. And she just walk out like, now the shares are automatically my son's because you did it. So that's what that is. She's so stupid. I don't know what's wrong with mama. But anyway, so he did. So Taylor and Nikki meet up, and she talked about how she wants to apply to the boarding school. Lauren walks up again, and she's like, "I need your help on this situation that I don't want to talk about in front of Nikki." And Nikki is feeling a certain type of way again. And so then she was like, "Hey, I think I'm going to meet up with Jack, the business partner, and have a discussion about what's going on with him and her mom. And yeah, I want you to go with me." So they go to try to meet Jack, and Jack's dead. So they turn around, walk back out. That's what happened. And so Angela is now at the alumni party, and she finds Giselle. Excuse me, she's trying to show her products so she can become an investor. And so what happens is that Olivia sees her talking to her, and she walks up and she's like, "What are you doing? We don't solicit products here." And she was like, "No." And she's like, trying to make a fool out of her. Leah overhears her talking. Angela walks out, but what she does is she leaves a sample of her product at Giselle's table. Now Giselle is, y'all remember the movie, the Tyler Perry movie, where you had the two sisters, and you had one sister that was a single mom, and the other sister that was getting married to Blair Underwood, and the one that threw the grit ball, the pat on. The sister that got sold out to the mom's guy friends and stuff like that, who was molested. That's who Giselle is playing. That lady there. So yeah, so Nikki X. So Nikki and Taylor meet back up after seeing the dead body. And she asked her was her and Lauren get back together, and she was like, "No, she really can't explain what's going on." And she walks off, but Nick Taylor can't really explain to her that they just saw Jack dead body. Okay, that's that. So Lauren tells that. Okay, so basically what happened was that Lauren and Raymond is there at the house, right? And Leah comes in and she explains how she got the key, like how while Lauren was there how she found the body, and she was like, "Well, Jack gave me the key. I didn't use it, so I had it in the car, and that's where Lauren got the key from." Now, why she would go to confront Jack, that's something she decided to do on her own. So that's what that. And so then Lauren gets mad for some reason, and she walks off because she doesn't think that the explanation that her mom gave her was good enough and why she had the key from Jack. So now Raymond has to go and get in front of the press to explain Jack's dead body. So basically what he said was that I'll tell you what happened. So in between that, so Pat and Angela meet up, right? So she tells her that the cocaine is hers. The cocaine is the auntie. She said she used to be a crackhead. What happened was, this the tea, y'all. So what had happened was that the aunt was fooling around with this dude, right? And so they was like doing drugs together. They was crackheading it together. And so then they got into it one time, and he was choking her. And the security guard went. Well, what had happened was he was choking her, and she picked up a knife and she stabbed him. Right. So he gone by that. So she calls Eve, and Eve calls Teddy Franklin. Teddy Franklin gets the security guard, which is Tariq's daddy, involved. She telling Angela this, and Angela like, okay. So she was like, and so he gets involved, and they buried the body. Since they came back to where they're at, Teddy Franklin has been holding this secret over Pat because he wants Pat to get Angela and get the hell on. He don't even want her there. She was like, he can't be trusted. He ain't no good. I know it's your daddy, but he ain't no good. Girl, I need to get the ANA. I need to get the ANA fast. The crack is taking over. Judge Mathis would be having a field day with this. So Olivia and Leah speak about her messing with Angela, and she was, and they talk about that, and so then yeah, so and she basically, Leah tells Olivia that she's not defending her mom's honor. She's no longer doing that. She's basically being messy. So what happened was what? Yeah, well, I don't know. But I don't know. I can't even read my own handwriting. I don't give me one. I don't even know what they say. But anyway, so Angela meets up with Nate, and she apologizes to him for, the whole blaming him for cocaine situation. And he was like, I ain't say nothing. I was just like letting you go off and blow steam. She was like, no, I just want you to know that I'm sorry. She basically wants to be vulnerable. She basically wants to express her feelings. And yeah, they had a moment and they kissed, and she was like, no, can't do this. I basically want to co-parent and be there for Nikki. We're not gonna do this because I guess she likes Tariq. I don't know. And so while they on the couch, and you know that situation happened. So she gets a call from Giselle. Giselle says, "Hey, I want to have a meeting with you," and that's what that was. So Lauren goes. What? No, Taylor gets visited by Lauren about them discussing what's gonna happen with them finding the body and what the dad said with the press. And so they kissed, and then it skipped to us. Now they get back kissing, so I don't know how that's gonna play out. So now we have Sloan and the brother. They talking about um what they talking about, and oh, he's talking about how he told his dad. I don't know what the freak they were talking about. Anyway, they irrelevant. I don't know. The brother's not really a main character. So they was talking about what they was going, and they kissed. So period, that's what that happened. And so then it went to the mom and Olivia. Olivia drunk the mom. So she walked by, and Raymond is sitting there like, Mom, come here. Let me holler at you for a spell. And he was like, oh, so I told the press that, Jack has been going through things and that he hasn't been himself lately. And that may be what contributed to his falling out and his death in his room. And she was like, trying to pretend like, what? And he was like, oh yeah, but I didn't tell you that I found the jar of gin that only you drink. And the glass with your lipstick on it. I told you to stay out of it, you old bat. I told you to stay out of it. And she was like, I was just, basically trying to protect you. And da-da-da-da. And he was like, well, now the shares, since you're dead, goes to me, which is the partner. And what's going to happen is that I'm going to take over, not you. The mom wants the feminine female energy to take over. He wants himself and the masculine male energy to take over. So he was like, no, I'm gonna take over. You stand down. You killed him. Now the share is gonna automatically come to me, not Teddy Franklin. Now I have the control. Now we have to see what Raymond has in store for Teddy, since he has the upper hand. So that is how our kind of people ended these last two episodes. So yeah, I'm sorry y'all, my booty don't went to sleep with a little teaspoon that I got left. But yeah, that's the end of our kind of people. And I ain't even finna lie to y'all. I'm not finna lie. I'm gonna catch it when I catch it, and I'm gonna look at it when I look at it. That's just what it is. So yeah, that's the recap for our kind of people. I'm not sure if this is the last episode or if it's a season 2 or whatever. I'm gonna go ahead and check that out and see what update is on that. And I thank you, whoever saw this. And yeah, that's the recap of our kind of people.